Mike, or Jay, I'm so glad.
Hi,
Jay Montmeat,
Kate,
so
nice
good
to see you. Yes, ma'am.
So glad that you could be here today.
Thanks for having me.
It's Jay Montmeat, and I was able to meet you, Jay, just the other day on the boardwalk in Niantic, and so enthralled with who you are and what you do. And you told me that you have a serious seniors fitness YouTube video, so if people are really interested in seeing what you have to say without being asked any questions, then that would be the place for them to go.
It's a good place to go, and you can see me using this particular device right here on the beach, right there in Niantic, where we met.
Okay, and it's called a Pop Sport. So
This one is, yes, this is called Pop Sport. The manufacturer is Pop Sport.
Okay, and the beauty of this is that you can actually exercise and take this wherever you go. And what are some of the exercises that you're able to do on this?
This particular device is designed to do chin-ups, pull-ups. You can bring this pull-up bar down to this mid-range level, Kate, and you can do dips, like parallel bar dips. Okay, you can do certainly push-ups or burpees down here on this lower set of parallel bars down here. So you can, I mentioned inverted rows perhaps, which are a modified pull-up type thing. All right, and I can demo if we have room, but that's another option. So, yeah.
So it's a nice piece of equipment, and it didn't sound like it was very expensive. You were able to pick one of these up for not too much money.
Right. Amazon has them right now, and we're in March of 2020. Amazon has them for about $100 up to $150, somewhere in that range.
And that includes shipping, and you can get it. And basically, you have your own gym, and you don't have to do it inside.
Well, that's right.
The beauty of it, maybe, is that you can take it outside, and it's portable. It goes wherever you want to go.
Absolutely. You can set up in a Walmart parking lot. You can set up on a beach. You can set up in a trail, in the woods, whatever works for you.
Jay, how much does this weigh? How much does this?
This one is 48 pounds, this one. And they range, the others, depending on what you get, anywhere from maybe 42 to, actually, if you can get an aluminum one, which tend to be more, this is steel.
Okay.
So there are aluminum options as well, which are more expensive and a little bit lighter, maybe 10 pounds lighter, so 37 pounds to 42 pounds.
Okay, so 37 to 42, and probably you could put it on like a golf cart kind of rolling
yes, you could.
Kind of apparatus that you could pull it along so you wouldn't actually have to lift it.
Right.
But once you get it and you build up your muscles, then you have that strength and you're able to lift it and carry it and use it. Maybe that's part of the workout as well.
Exactly. I make it as part of the workout. I think of it as, carrying it and setting up as almost as beneficial, maybe in some cases more beneficial than the actual doing the exercises.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about the history of this. When did you get involved with the use of these pop sports?
This particular one, I've had this a couple of years, but I've had a lot of equipment, fitness equipment for years. I have an elaborate gym at home, and so I've always been into fitness equipment. But these are relatively new. Pull-Up Mate in the UK was really the first one to offer this, and then what happened was I think a bunch of Chinese manufacturers began to copy it and sell it through Amazon. So it's definitely an item. It's a category under portable pull-up bars and dip bars on Amazon, for example, or eBay, either one.
Okay, and you're thinking that this is a really good thing, especially for seniors or for anybody?
Anybody,
Anybody.
Yeah. I think certainly seniors definitely want to be included in that because a lot of seniors have, though they may not be as energetic as they were when they were 20, they have more time now. So that trade-off is there. So it's something that seniors certainly should be involved in. Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's good for your strength. It's good for probably your balance and your mobility. What other kinds of things are you working on?
You can also do stretching.
Stretching, good.
Yeah, stretching is always good. Absolutely. There's all kinds of things that are good. I am a fan of all forms of resistance training, calisthenics, whatever. And in this case, with body weight, it may be more functional in a lot of ways, I think, Kate. So for seniors, particularly who may not be looking to build up bulk, let's say, but just want to stay fit, body weight type exercises can be very good.
Probably the best. I'm
Probably
thinking.
the best. You hate to say one thing's better than the other, but all resistance forms are probably pretty good.
Okay.
And in fact, you can combine this. Number of seniors may have resistance bands, for example,
Oh, there
which
you
are a
go.
popular category. You can wrap these around, the bands around this, and combine it. You can stand on it. I may even have some bands out there, but you can just wrap them and stand on this and use that that way too.
Jay, I think you're a guy that likes to move. So why don't you show me? I think your mic will stretch.
All right, let's see if this will work. We'll give
why
it a
don't
try.
you go ahead and show me some of
All
your
right. All right.
calisthenics, your
Okay, so
yeah, tell me.
Start with just a basic chin up.
And I know you're all warmed up, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, always, yeah. All right. Anyway, so pronated grip, which means palms facing away from you.
Okay.
All right. So basic chin. I'll just do one more. So all the way down, all the way up. All right.
Now, do you need to have somebody spot you, or
No, that's the great thing. This is completely stable. More so if you have ballast, but perfectly okay, just the way it is. You can do it. Not so much for swinging moves, Kate.
No, that would not be good.
Yeah,
So
you wouldn't want to do swinging. So the trendy thing in CrossFit is those kipping pull-ups where you're swinging up. I don't know if you, well, anyway.
No, I don't know.
All right, well, then we won't
pull-ups.
bother with that. So, okay. But anyway, you have other options. So neutral grip, which is a popular way, a little bit easier, maybe a little bit more
strenuous.
easier on the joints,
easier,
let's say.
okay.
Okay, so you just are, better
watch
not
your
hit my head
watch
on
your
that.
Yeah, watch your head.
Yeah. Okay, and of course, supinated grip, which is palms facing
Okay.
in. Okay.
And then each one of those, you are using a different muscle group.
Right, it tends to recruit. They're all using a lot of the same muscles, but changes the emphasis.
Okay.
So recruiting a little more. So this, with palms facing in, would be a little bit more biceps, for example.
Okay.
All right. And
Now, do you draw a crowd when you're out there?
sometimes, yeah, people are interested and have been interested right along in all different ages. And I had a young guy that was an MMA fighter. He said he had a number of pro fights. He stopped by and he was working out with me recently.
Sure.
And had kids. Of course, kids are always interested.
Uh-huh.
And some of the older folks are willing and able, but you get I hear a few more excuses when it's the older, oh, my shoulder hurts.
Right.
My back's killing me.
Right. Yeah, but isn't that the thing that helps you if
Exactly.
you start to do some of those
Absolutely.
things?
So if you have a bad back or things like that, this is particularly good because hanging, for example, I maintain that one of the problems with elderly, with most adults over the age of 40.
We don't hang enough.
Exactly. There's no decompression of the spine. You get up in the morning, you start pounding on the pavement,
Okay.
you walk, run, whatever you're doing, and it's just compressing the spine all
So
day.
show me what you do when you hang.
Okay, so on this one you can do suspended running man,
Okay.
which is simple enough, and if I don't hit my head here,
Yeah,
you
be
just
careful.
hold here and start running.
Oh, there you go.
You see, so now I'm getting spinal decompression. I'm getting a running with no pounding at all, right?
Right.
There's no impact on my joints at all, and spinal decompression. So, and you feel better that way. It just makes you feel generally better. Now,
Nice.
if you can't do pull-ups, and a number of seniors can no longer do it, you can just hang and do that, just the suspended run.
Right.
All right, or abs of any kind. You
Oh,
can.
there you go. Yeah, just like your knee lifts.
Yeah.
Kind of like a sit-up almost,
Exactly.
but not on your back.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's, knee lifts. Okay.
Now, do you want me to demonstrate some more?
Yeah, I love it. I
Aspect-
love
okay.
the.
Let's try
As
some.
long as you have the energy.
Oh, I've got the energy.
I am like all eyes and ears. So just let me know if.
I just don't want to hit any of this nice equipment in here.
No, we.
All right. So anyway, from this vantage point, Kate, if I can reach, let me pull this over a little bit.
Okay. You're gonna scoot
so-
in there.
You can do decline push-ups, like so.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Well, that's nice. That's easier than a regular push-up.
Well, that one's a little harder, but this is a little easier.
that one's
It
easier.
would be an incline.
Okay.
This would be a little bit easier than a standard level push-up. Okay, so there's an option.
See, now I just would think somebody would just want to have you come around and do this because it's just so motivating. You see somebody like you and,
Yeah.
you're about my age, so it's just like, hey, he's working out, he's doing all these serious athletic
I get a
activities
number of
and-
comments like that. Some people say, geez, I got to start moving. And in fact, I do see from time to time people on the beach. It seems like they see me and then I see them doing some calisthenics as well.
Of course.
So you've got another option here. I don't know if I can get in here, but. And this would be just an inverted row like this.
Okay.
So it's a little easier than doing a standard pull-up because you don't have all your body weight. Your heels are down. All right. So you have a percentage of maybe 2/3 of your body weight. So a little easier.
Okay.
All right.
So you have just all kinds of variety, flexibility.
Yeah.
And if you were to recommend this, if you were a trainer, would you say to do like a set of 12, 2 sets
Yeah.
of 12 kind of
whatever
thing?
you can do, start off and shoot for 10. Shoot for 8, whatever works for you, and gradually build.
Well, it's your body weight, so
Yeah.
you're maybe starting out with a little bit more than you would if you were in a
Exactly
gym.
right.
And this is so nice right now because of the weather being nice and things kind of warming up outside.
Yeah, we've been blessed with the weather. This is the warmest month of March I can ever remember here. So
You need to go up
I
and
think
around.
I'm going to have to go up and under here, aren't we?
You're like a little tangled there with
There we
your
go.
microphone. Okay.
All right.
So, no, that's great.
Anyway, so now this also can compress a bit, and you can bring the chin-up bar down to this level, bring it back up, and you can do dips. I'll I'll skip that maybe. That might be a little involved here for this.
No,
But
it's a great.
we have time for it? You want me to?
If you
do
want to, sure. Yeah.
I may end up having to take this off.
I can hold your mic for
Okay.
you.
Well,
Yeah.
let me do that.
So I'm thinking, while you're getting set up again, I'm just thinking that this would be a great thing if we could put this in around East Lyme because that's where I live.
Yep.
And you're in Old Lyme, you told me, and but you like to go over to the boardwalk, which is one of our favorite local spots. A lot of people like the boardwalk, I think. But I take my dog and go for a walk, and whenever I'm out walking my dog, and she's an Airedale, and she always likes to look around, and she's very curious about everything that's going on in the world. So when she's looking around, and if I have a curb, I will just do my step-ups, first
Okay.
my right foot, and then I'll do 10 of those, and then on my left foot, and then leading that way. So it's always like, keep moving, and just use your body as much as you possibly can.
Let me emphasize that you don't need any tools for this particular unit. You can just operate, without any tools whatsoever. So they're just these locking clips that,
Nice,
that
nice.
lock right in. So it's very simple and very user friendly.
Mm-hmm. And you get a lot of good out of it, I think. So I'm thinking it would be nice if we could have something like this that was maybe a little bit sturdier, commercial construction of it.
If you're going to have a commercial unit, it would have to be sturdier than this individual or home unit, let's say.
Right.
Yeah, this would not.
But I'm just thinking what a great idea this would be to have in town where you could have one of these set up and then people could be exercising, maybe have it at McCook's where the kids are playing at the playground up there, and then have adults who could be, the parents, rather than sitting on the old park bench, maybe
That's right.
doing some.
That's right. The parents become participants rather than just sedentary observers.
Well, and good role models for their kids, too, is what I'm
exactly.
thinking.
Yeah.
You kind of do what your parents do in a lot of ways. Here, do you want them?
Absolutely.
I don't know how well they can hear you without that, so
All right.
I know they don't want to miss what you have to say.
Right. So there it is. Kate, there used to be outdoor fitness equipment in both East Lyme and in Waterford.
Oh.
And they have now I'm going back 20 years or so, 15 to 20 years. Back then, they used to build outdoor equipment out of wood, and they probably treated it, but after a while, the wood would begin to splinter and become maybe a little shaky, so they would tear them down. So there was one right there at East Lyme near the library where the middle school is now, behind the Lily B. Haynes Elementary School. And in Waterford, it was at the high school. It was great. They had a very nice setup, and I was sorry they didn't replace when they took down the old unit. But
Well, I think we're always looking for ideas to improve the town, improve the area, and there is some real energy or interest in people continuing to be fit and active.
absolutely,
And
yeah. And what they do today in most of the outdoor beach settings, let's say Miami or Southern California, is they make them out of composite materials today, which are weather resistant for the most part. And so they'll last longer. You don't have the problem with splintering of the wood, getting splinters, and just safer, I guess, overall, So, well, anyway, I'll just demo it quickly. So you can use this like parallel bars. So,
wow.
Doing full dips, if that appeals to you. So that's another option. Again, decompressing your spine. And you can just hold the position. You don't have to necessarily, if you're a senior and you can't quite do dips yet, you can always just lock and hold and decompress the spine.
Well, the more you do that, too, the stronger you would get.
You do get stronger, yes.
Right. And mostly upper body and a little bit in your core, but not some legs, not so much. Tell me how you would do your legs.
Well, with legs, you're right. You're probably going to have to bring along either resistance bands to add to it. So if you were to wrap resistance bands and stand on that, you could use that to resist, let's say, squats or almost anything. So you can use that. If you have this set up outdoors, you can always go for a walk or run. You can have a jump rope with you, all kinds of things. But yes, this unit is primarily for upper body.
Upper body, okay, which is fine, and I think that's where a lot of my strength is limited. So, yeah, definitely. That's wow. You must you did all the work, and I'm like, whoa! I just took a deep breath. I don't think I needed it as much as you did, but that's just really an amazing little.
It is. I think it's remarkable. I think it's a nice achievement, and I'm glad to see them getting them out there with Amazon and eBay. So they are selling some, and it's good. There's some interest.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, and I think, like, my husband's in an over-the-hill walking group, I think, and there's definitely some initiatives and incentives, and a lot of people that do the trail walking, and I think just having one of these along the way, so if you're walking along, getting your exercise that you'd be doing normally, and then if you stop and do some upper body simultaneously, because,
Yeah, well, that's the way they often have it on a trail or on a, and the nearest good trail that I can think of, Kate, there is one in Montville, which is in the Camp Oakdale.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
And that goes up through which was a great idea. They had it going up a hill, a very steep hill, up to the main, where the tennis courts are, and it goes up to a higher level, winds through the woods, which was a good concept, but they haven't maintained it that well. It tends to get overgrown with poison ivy. So in practice, I don't think it's really been very effective. The best one that I know of, best outdoor trail right now in Connecticut, is at Nevers Park in South Windsor. And that one is superb. That's well maintained, and it's a linear, as you just pointed out. You've got walking trails, and then every so often, every, let's say, 100 yards or so, there'll be a workout station. And they're well maintained, and they're good. That's a good one. So.
Well, I think it's a great idea. So, if we were to do something like this, how would we go about the design? Are there architects and engineers who have designed them?
Absolutely, and I would recommend if East Lyme or Waterford wants to copy, I think that beautiful system, the new one that Newport, Rhode Island has brought into effect, which I was mentioning to you, is set up right next to a playground, and it's at the Edward King House, right off Bellevue Avenue, and that's not a linear. That's a pod where you have all of the workout stations in a relatively compact area next to the playground, so the parents can stay right there and do whatever they like. But that system is good. I know Newport, the city of Newport, applied for a loan, or a grant from through AARP, I believe it was. And anyway, there again, you can get more details from the YouTube video where they have the lady that handled it for the city of Newport makes the opening day speech. So,
nice.
But that was a good concept. I think that would work. But along the beach is a good idea too. We've got, in East Lyme, you've got a long beach there. You could set up workout stations along that beach, right off the boardwalk, and have access to it that way. So
it's good for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not large. It's not. It would be aesthetically pleasing to the environment and
Sure.
to the terrain.
And it's just one more incentive. It's already, the boardwalk in East Lyme is already very heavily used, and this would just be one more, item to bring people in.
That's all good. That's all good. It's all about getting out there and getting your exercise. Now, have you always been strongly?
Yeah. I've always been into it. I've always liked it. I think it was a Peter Pan complex. I never wanted to get old, and now I'm 70, so I can't claim I'm because now I'm old. But I never wanted to be that way where I was sedentary and overweight or, I couldn't move. I just was always eager to avoid that, so I've always
You're
tried
taking care of yourself, and
I've tried to.
Yeah. Well, I think aging gracefully is the secret. Well, and you said your mom lived to be 102, which I think
she made it to 102. Yes,
and
she
I think
did.
that's amazing. Yeah. So you have good genes for one thing.
Well, I hope so, but
exercise. What else? What other secrets?
Exercise helps certainly, and try and de-stress your life. That's the other thing, which the exercise helps on that front. Try not to worry about too much. Certainly, this coronavirus insanity that's going on all around us right now, Kate. I think the key is to try and take a relaxed viewpoint and do the best you can.
Do the best you
follow
can.
Follow the rules and
follow
not
the rules.
worry about it. It'll pass, and hopefully we'll come bounding back and everything will be good. So,
absolutely. Well, it reminds me of all the things, all the atrocities. My mother lived to be 95, and actually
Good.
she was born in 1918. So your mom and my mom would have been
contemporaries.
Contemporaries.
Yeah. Well,
so
my mother's mother died ironically in that earlier Spanish flu of 1918. I don't know if you remember that. That was when that Spanish flu was out and about and in force. And so my maternal grandmother, died of that particular earlier pandemic. Well, whatever.
And here we are, right?
And here we are. 102 years later, we're dealing with a new one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, is there anything else that you want us to cover as far as who you are or what you want to get out there or the messages that you want?
Yeah, not particularly. I encourage anybody who sees me at any of the beaches. I'm usually set up at Hole in the Wall Beach. That's where I typically set this up.
So should we interrupt you, Jay?
Absolutely.
Should we say, hey, Jay, show me? And
a lot of people do, and I encourage anybody who might be thinking of that and hasn't, please do that, because for one thing, it's a public beach, and it should be, and it should be available to anybody. So
and
if I have it
friendly,
set up, and I like that, and it gives me a chance, Kate, to take a break and let somebody else do the work. See, and I can then comment or maybe offer some insights,
some
but
suggestions
instead of having to do it myself. See, that's the other angle.
Oh,
so I like that.
Well, that's all good.
Yeah.
And advice for other things for this longevity. Your mom lived to be 102. There has to be some other secrets.
Yeah. Exercise, de-stress your life. I think those are keys. Beyond that, I don't know if there is any magic formula. There are no magic pills out there that I've found yet, and certainly you want to avoid these pandemics if you can. Stay away from coronavirus or SARS or any of the other Ebolas. That helps if you can avoid them.
Eat well.
Eat well. Yeah, that's it.
What's your favorite thing to eat?
I like all foods, and I probably shouldn't like them as much as I do. I've tried to cut back on foods by doing a lot more of the protein shakes. So that has helped me a little bit to try and maintain my weight, Kate. And you probably do too. So I'm all into the powders and having those. One benefit I find if you're a senior or anyone is that with the protein shakes, I used to like milkshakes, which are terrible, of course, for your weight and then almost everything. Too much sugar, everything bad. And the protein shakes, one of the real benefits is that when you get hooked on them is that I find milkshakes now are too sugary. I don't like the taste any longer. I used to love it, and now I don't like them at all. And I think it's because the protein shakes kind of have replaced them. They taste better. They're less fattening. They're less calories.
And you don't need all that sugar. Sometimes I'll taste something, and there was something I was eating the other day, and it was the sweet potato pie, and it was just too sweet. I took one bite, and I was like, oh, this is really, Whoever made it, they just put in way too much sugar. So it's always good, So good exercise, de-stress.
De-stress, watch your diet, of course. We all have to do that.
Of course. And just get up every morning and put a smile on your face, have a good attitude, and greet each day with the best you can.
Absolutely, and you know that absolutely. You're right on point, Kate. If you're a senior, if you're retired, as I am, and a number of other people probably out there listening are, you have to have a plan every day. I think you're right. You got to get up with an idea. In my case, it's what kind of workout I'm going to have today. What did I miss yesterday? What muscles do I need to hit today? What do I need to work on? What flexibility, or whatever. But it's always good to start with a plan, and do the best you can to carry through with it. It gives you something to work on and a direction each day, rather than just get up and watch the news and get depressed over the news, which invariably has got problems, and you start worrying and getting stressed. So, I think that's another good item you mentioned, is starting with a plan every day.
Start with a plan. Work your plan. Plan your work. Work your plan.
Work your plan.
And then you're out there and you're enjoying it. Before you know, you don't even know what you might have been upset about. Or
absolutely.
Sad about.
And again, another benefit, a third, fourth benefit of these type units that you can take outside is just what you were saying. You might have people come over. You have a lot of social. There's a lot of social interaction, which you don't if you're stuck away, whether you're in a home gym, garage gym, whatever. Even the commercial gyms oftentimes are maybe less friendly sometimes. Everybody's going about there. There's not a whole lot of interaction.
You don't know if you should.
On the beach, people tend to be a little more social, so there is that, and I enjoy that. A lot of people got to know on the beach, and I see them all the time, and
nice.
They're.
Well, I tend to be really friendly, and sometimes I think, well, maybe they don't want to be bothered. But now that you've given me permission, when I see you out there,
please
I'm
do.
Say, hey, Jay, how's it going today?
I'll put you to work, though, Kate. You're going to have to start showing me how to do some pull-ups properly.
I will do
things
some
like
pull-ups,
that.
and I'll take your instruction. Now, were you a phys ed teacher previously?
No, I wasn't. And I think if I'm sure some of your listeners, and perhaps you have felt this way, when you get to be 70, you start looking back and saying, Jesus, I should have, there was,
could have, would have,
should have. And, but today there are so many more options in fitness than there were when I was young. And that was sort of the direction. You want to be a gym teacher, and that never appealed to me that much. But all these other angles, the personal trainers and physical therapists and things like that. There's so many different, which I think are interesting and which are appealing. So I know today, if I were coming along and we're starting out, I would probably do something like that.
Well, I think you're doing it now. So I think you're having your second life and your second opportunity.
Reinventing myself.
Well, we just have a few seconds left, probably not too much longer. Okay. I did want to ask you about metrics. So if I was going to do this, how would I keep track? I mean, I would just know intuitively, I'm guessing is what you're going to tell me. That
what, number of reps or number of...
Yeah, or just like, how am I going to know I'm getting stronger?
Right. I do an old school method, which since you're on the beach, I actually take a stick on the beach and I say let's say I've done 30 pull-ups so far, I maintain that, and then I've done 50 sit-ups, for example. So I just write it.
The sand is your sidewalk or your whiteboard. Huh?
Right. The sand is a source of a beautiful setting. It's also used for ballast, for holding down the unit, and then I use it as well as a scorecard or scoreboard. So I make full use of the sand.
Well, then if you're there, you have people cheering you on. Hey, Jay, go for it.
Right. You don't want to just sort of fall apart. No, I can't do one. That doesn't look good.
Well, my tennis game is always so much better if I have an audience.
We all do better with the camera.
You rise to the occasion. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, this has really been lovely, and I've really enjoyed having you on as a guest.
Well, thanks for having me, Kate. It's great talking to you, and I hope we'll see you down there at the boardwalk soon.
I will be there. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.